What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you're having a good day, and I certainly hope you're having a great week. Hey, Well-Off Media, thank you so much for this video that I'm talking over. I appreciate your work, Bucky. Thank you so much. Shout out to you, man. This video is going to be a little interesting today. So I got two articles on the wire that came up. I want to take these two writers. They're opposing views on how Colorado is going to shape out in 2024 if Coach Prime can build a good team from the portal. I want to put them side by side. Both takes are unique. Both of them are not necessarily for, but anyways, you know what? I'll give you the information and then we can discuss it a little bit in the comments. Also, I want to hear your thoughts. You can decide who do you think is making the most sense, and then you let me know. We'll do that right after these messages. Let Shador Sanders tell you who we are around these woods. Go ahead and let them know.
BWB bandwagon buffs.
That's right. It's your man's Harry Billion. Please do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Make sure to give me the thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you can get the videos as soon as it uploads to YouTube. All right, family, so I gotta go ahead and get into this video real quick. So that's all the business I got. You know what time it is. Let's work. All right, guys, so welcome back. That food is looking delicious, but we're not here for the food. If you're feeling hungry, I'm sorry I did that to you. Let the team go ahead and eat. Let's go ahead and get to the article. Let's go. So we'll start with the Denver Post. The Denver Post Keeler. I believe I've covered an article from Keeler before. Keeler has quite interesting takes about Colorado and Coach Prime. So just buckle your seatbelts when you're listening to Keeler speak about Coach Prime. We'll go back and forth. Can Deion Sanders build elite CU Buffs offensive line from transfer portal? This NFL alum says no. Jordan Seaton might be ready to flip pancakes and kick tails for CU, but the rest, it's a lot of moving parts. All right, let's see what Keeler put together from this so-called NFL alum. If it worked for UGA 11, it'll fly for Ralphie the 6th, right? Fun fact, the Georgia Bulldogs started a redshirt freshman, Ernest Green III, at left tackle last fall. So Jeff Shorts will concede that Jordan Seaton might be ready to kick tails and flip pancakes for the CU Buffs, only a half a year or so removed from the prep ranks. But then the former NFL and Oregon lineman has you take a closer look at the Dogs' depth chart from late last fall. The number of Georgia starters who landed in Athens via the transfer portal, none. Gear up, guys. Buckle your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be a rocky ride in the Colorado mountains. That's not written. I just threw that in there for kicks. Here we go. When the plan is that you have 5 new offensive linemen in Boulder, and it means you've got 4 or 5 new backups, Shorts, now an analyst with Fox Sports, explained it's a lot of moving parts. Another fun fact, Shorts voted on the 2023 Joe Moore Award, presented annually to the best offensive line unit in the country. The 4 finalists for the honor, Georgia, LSU, Oregon, and Washington. Last season has something else in common besides quality beef up front. It had continuity. Among their 20 collective starters going into the final week of the regular season, only 2, 1 each, with the Tigers and Ducks, had transferred into the program after playing in the 2022 campaign somewhere else, which meant 90% of those starting spots were held by linemen who'd already spent more than 10 months on their respective roster together. Quarterbacks can be ported in at last minute. Wideouts and cornerbacks are one-on-one specialists. Free agents and free spirits by nature who live and die on their matchups out on the boundaries. But the best offensive lines in college football, historically, there it goes again, historically, are grown and developed like a plant or a garden. They're watered and nurtured over time, not patched together in a hurry. We mentioned this, of course, because as of last week, the Buffs projected 3 deep this fall could feature as many as 11 offensive linemen who weren't with the team last November. Now, after watching the 2023 CU line surrender 56 sacks, Buffs faithful are probably down with a complete overhaul. After all, Shador Sanders can't park a Rolls Royce if he's busy lying on his backside, right? This is going to work, right? Right? A resounding no. Shorts told me earlier this month, I know their offensive line wasn't good last year. 5 new guys, along with a true freshman at left tackle. It's a lot of turnover, and it's a lot of new guys. The Buffs are expected to start Seaton, the country's #1 prep offensive line recruit, at the most glamorous position on the unit. CU in the spring slotted newcomers Khalil Benson, a transfer from Indiana, and Justin Mayers, formerly of UTEP, into the starting 5. Another Big 10 expatriate, tackle Ethan Boyd, escaped the dumpster fire Mel Tucker left at Michigan State, starting 3 games for the Spartans last fall and appearing in all 12. They've said a lot so far. Schwartz and Keeler, they're warming us up. They're leading us down this road of doom, making us feel like we ain't got nobody but a bunch of dumpster fire putouts, expatriates. Okay, put a pin right there. Let's go over to the other article and let's see what they're talking about. Let's go. This one is coming from SaturdayBlitz.com. 3 Big 12 football teams that will exceed expectations in 2024. And this one is written by Connor Modowney. Connor, you got to give me something good, man, because Keeler and his boy Schwartz over there, boy, they're painting a picture of doom and gloom over there at the Denver Post. Come on, Saturday Blitz. Let's see what you got. Just last week, I posted the 3 Big 12 football teams that I felt would disappoint during the 2024 season, and obviously the fans of those programs were not thrilled. Come on, Connor, what do you think was going to happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell somebody their girl don't look all that good, and you're telling me they're supposed to be thrilled. So let's make some other fans happy with the flip side of that coin. Here are the 3 Big 12 teams that I believe are going to exceed some post-spring expectations and shock the rest of the conference this season. We're starting off with the Colorado Buffaloes at number 3. I know you see the name Colorado and you're probably already prepared to close this article. Come on, Connor, man. We was good, man. We was good just a second ago, Connor. Why are people closing the article because they see Colorado? We're the villains of college football. I get it. All right, let's keep reading. Connor says, but hear me out. I'm going to hear you out. For starters, I do believe that Colorado is talked about far too much, but lately the Buffaloes have been getting a lot of hate coverage from the media. I don't know how to receive Connor's jousting here, this writing, this poetry that he's writing here. They do this thing where they're throwing shots and complimenting you all in the same voice. You know what I'm saying? Like on the live last night, MCH is like, oh, Harry B, you're growing right in front of me. And I'm like, well, out of that same mouth came, Harry B, you don't know anything about football. I'm just here for the comedy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, no thank you. You get confused. College football and fan bases are kind of weird, okay? When you do this here job, you got to have thick skin or something. I don't know, okay? Just say no thank you and keep it moving, because that's why I say I don't want to make no friends around here. I don't want to make no friends. In order for you to speak truth or just to speak your opinion freely, you're going to have to position yourself to be a centrist. You lean over there, people are going to like you. You lean over here, people are going to hate you. There's nowhere to go but just to be centered. He continues. Is it fair? Honestly, some of it is because Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders have been saying some wild things, but a lot of it is hate just to hate. I did a whole live last night, Monday Night Football, talking about this hate, trying to garner some type of understanding where the hate is coming from. Like, what's the reason why people hate Colorado and Deion Sanders so much? Is some of it warranted? Maybe. We want our heroes to be humble and down to earth because that's how we like our heroes. We don't want our heroes who already have these superhero abilities, we don't want them to have that gift and then on top of that to rub it in our faces. That's why a lot of us who are just mere humans, not with these superpowers like these football players like Deion Sanders and his son, we don't want you to have these unhuman superhero powers and then on top of that to rub it in our face and to be like, yeah, I know I'm good. Those two things, they don't go well together. And I get it. That happens when you have the most polarizing head coach in college football. With the hate has come some predictions that Colorado may win 3 to 4 games again this season, but I don't think that'll be the case. I've often seen the Buffaloes near the bottom 3 in some post-spring power rankings. For as much talent as they have and are bringing in, that's wild to me. Sure, the roster turnover is concerning, but Deion is just playing the portal game. Connor is kind of like counteracting what the Denver Post and Keeler and his guy Schwartz, the new Fox analyst who played at Oregon and then played in the NFL, you know, they're having an opposing opposing conversations. So there's two stories going on here. Colorado has the #1 transfer class, the potential #1 overall pick in the 2025 NFL draft, and arguably the most electric player in college football. And I'm thinking that's going to be Travis Hunter. A 3-9 season doesn't seem likely to me. Okay, y'all want me to read that again? The #1 transfer class, potential #1 overall pick, the most electric player in college football, and they're saying 3-9 or 4-8 again in a Big 12 conference that's wide open. Teams are going to beat up on each other. It's going to be one-score wonders. All right, let's go back to the Denver Post and let's pick up where we stopped. Put a pin in this right here. All right, let's go ahead and highlight this. We'll be right back after these messages from the Denver Post. And if you're liking this video so far, guys, if you're learning anything, if you're having a little bit of fun with me, guys, please hit that subscribe button and help this channel grow, guys. I try to provide content that teaches something, that we can learn something from. That's what I do best here. So let's go back to the Denver Post. So we were right here, remember? From that Ethan Boyd, that Mel Tucker, dumpster fire, escapee. That's where we are. Moving on. Oh, Shorts has CU's numbers, all right? And this skepticism is rooted in simple math. Is the math really simple? Is it really that simple? Schwartz. Hey, fan base, if his math ain't mathing, I'll make sure I let y'all know, okay? So let's see what this simple math is all about. So basically, more bodies, that's one. You got more bodies, we're adding plus less time together, okay? You got bodies, you got less time together. On the field, plus fewer reps. It's a little weird math, but it's okay. We're adding less reps at full contact speeds equals risk for Coach Prime. So that's the math. Basically, he's saying right here that we're adding a lot of new players and we haven't spent enough time together. I made that video about the Remember the Titans thing where they went on a retreat, and I think I made a mistake and I said Denzel directed that, but Denzel did not direct that. If he started, and thanks to the person that corrected me in the comments, I appreciate that, because there were racial tensions in the Remember the Titans movie. In order for the players to lock into the football and forget about all of the crazy tensions that were going on in that town, they had to spend a lot of time together. They had to get to know each other on a personal level. In order to do that, you need to spend time together. You need more time. That's what he's saying here. Okay, that's plausible. I see it. So that's risk for Coach Prime. Okay, we'll see. And you have less practice time now. You have less hitting time now. I think it's really hard to develop a really stable offensive line, said Shorts. At this point, a lot of the CU Buff fans are going to do this thing that we always do, right? In the comments where you start thinking, who the heck is this dude? He ain't got no gold jacket. Nobody knows his name. Who is he? Nobody cares about him. So right here, insert who this guy is, because you had that question pop up in your head right away. He said Shorts, whose 9-season NFL journey included stints with the Panthers, Chiefs, and the New York Giants. Those are my New York Giants. Wow. He played for us? I promise you, I don't know this guy. Okay? I have never heard of Shorts. All right? Never. I didn't know this guy because we sucked every year. It goes to tell you, okay, our offensive line can't block for nothing, okay? There's a perspective for you from a guy who suffers every year with his New York Giants because that offensive line, terrible. And apparently they're coming from Oregon, okay? So there you have it. We don't know how much training they've been doing outside of the team. A lot of the guys were not here for spring ball. They don't have that much time to hit and to really get to know each other. Let's go ahead and put a pin right here. We're going to come back, all right? Let's go back to SaturdayBlitz.com. So here we are. Where this blue line is, that's where we ended last time. A 3-9 season doesn't seem likely to me. That's from Connor. Let's continue. Looking at the schedule, I think Colorado starts the year 4-1, heading into a bye week. At worst, the Buffaloes are 3-2, but 4-1 seems reasonable with road wins against Colorado State and UCF. After the bye, they'll lose to Kansas State, and Arizona before beating Cincinnati, entering another week off. The Buffaloes could very well lose out in November with Texas Tech, Utah, Kansas, and Oklahoma State on the schedule, but I think they'll steal one and finally make a bowl game. No one is expecting this team to be playing past November, but we'll hear a rant from Dion after they become bowl eligible, calling out the media. You believe now? Oh, man. I don't know if Connor is a friendly or he's not. You're killing me all the way over here in New York, okay, Connor? I mean, can you blame the guy after y'all go after him and his family, his children, all off season? I spent a lot of time responding to the haters in the media, the time that I should be spending trying to educate my constituents, the fan base, my BWBs, my bandwagon buffs. I have to spend that time rebutting the daggone media. So can you blame the guy for, being a little frustrated and then letting y'all know, stop writing that bold junk? He reads this stuff. He knows y'all out here. He knows what y'all are saying. All of your legacy stuff that you're talking about, even though it seems like he's giving us a little bit of props, yeah, he's throwing some hate too. Okay? Coach Prime is going to be ranting and stuff like that. Like, come on, man. His first year, he comes into FBS football from the FCS Jackson State, and all y'all got to say is this guy would not win one game. Everybody's going to beat him. TCU, they're going to mollywop us. He goes in there, beat TCU. None of y'all had him winning that game. Goes in there, he proves y'all wrong. His son, Shador, would not be able to throw the ball. He throws for 510 yards. If you ain't walk 1 mile in a man's shoe, you can't tell him what to do. Let's go back to the Denver Post and let's finish what they had to say. So here we are. The blue highlight tells us where we ended at. 9-season NFL journey. He's now at Fox as an analyst. So we continue. Part of developing a good offensive line is spending time together. I was fortunate at Oregon. We had 6 guys in my class along the offensive line, and we spent just about every second together. When it comes to playing together, we ended up playing really well. Our right guard, our center, our backups were all guys I knew. Many of the buff new blockers have, a summer to learn how to work with one another on and off the field. CU, per 247sports.com, landed either enrollees, hard commits, or letters of intent from 3 non-portal offensive linemen in the class of 2024, but didn't have any in the fold as of late Sunday night for either class of 2025 or 2026. Just to put a little perspective on, you spend time together, you play together, you understand what the guy next to you is going to do. Spending time together creates trust. It creates an unbreakable bond. So I do understand that aspect, and I have talked about that several times here. It doesn't mean that this is the only element that can help guys play well together. Like I told y'all, in my last video, Coach Prime and his guys, they went on a retreat. They're learning about each other. I feel like the starters have had enough time to learn each other. Do they have the 10 months that he's subscribing, that he's saying you need? And do they all have the same classes together? Probably not. But this is a new age of college football. This is a new time where a lot of teams are going to be refueling their teams off of that transfer portal. And it can work, all right? We've already seen it work at a couple of schools, Florida State being the biggest one. It can work. We show flashes of it working last year. If you look at what happened last year and some of those tough games that we were in, those guys weren't missing blocks because they didn't spend time together. All right? Those guys were not just letting people pass through the line because they felt like they didn't have class together and maybe they should have known each other's cousin's name. I don't think that's what was going on. Now, what I will give you and what I would concede to is guys knowing the playbook. You spend more time, you play well for each other. But the way that the transfer portal is going with college football, you're not going to have that no more. If the guys don't know the playbook, that'll cause a lot of headache. If the playbook is confusing, if guys don't understand the playbook, they don't know which gaps they're supposed to be in, whether they're in the A gap, B gap, or take your block to the left or sandwich your guy, if they don't know those little nuances coming from the playbook, that may cause some issues. And that's what I think happened last year. Guys did not really fully understand the playbook and there was a lot of confusion. Communication wasn't really prevalent on that line. You can take some of what he's saying and apply it to the overall argument where communication is important. So if you have guys that you spend a lot of time with, you will be talking. This is your gap. I'm taking this gap. That cohesion, if you spend a lot of time together, you can be in sync. And sometimes you spend so much time that you know what the other guy is thinking without having to say anything. I will give you that part of the argument. That helps with synergy and that helps to make the game go a lot smoother. I get that part of it. But I would submit to y'all if our players can learn the playbook, they'll be fine because we have a lot of graduate on our team. We have a lot of U-Haul guys. If they know the play and they've been playing for 3 or 4 years, they'll understand and they'll be just fine. Let's go ahead and finish out this article. When pressed, Coach Prime shrugged away concerns about extended orientation time by likening the transition to that of an NFL lineman who joins a new team as a free agent. It harkens back to one of Sanders' core credos as a head coach. If it works in the pros, it can work for us too. Only Shorts isn't buying that one either. It's not the same sport. The former NFL lineman countered. The Lions had Taylor Decker and former Bronco Graham Glasgow and young Penei Sewell. Look at the Eagles, where Jason Kelsey was the old guard. You need a couple of veteran guys. The Buffs just don't have those veteran guys. Yeah, we do. I have long said that college football and the NFL are two different sports. They don't use the same ball. They don't use the same hash marks. The timing rules is just not the same. With offensive linemen, you need sort of that cohesiveness, and it takes a long time to build that. I get it. I understand it. If you don't have a lot of examples, if you haven't seen this thing work, like you've seen Florida State, you've seen Lane Kiffin, he's doing the same thing at Ole Miss. If it works at Ole Miss, if it works at Florida State, and then Coach Prime puts it together and it works, then people will start believing it. We are on the right side of history. We believe that this thing is going to work. It's a new process. It's something that people haven't seen before. The old school football, the way football used to work prior to the NIL deals, the way that you built football teams is that you wanted your guys to spend time together. But I would submit to you, during those times, people were also losing football games. I'm going to repeat that to let it sink in. Y'all tell me if this makes sense to y'all. During the times where guys used to spend more time together, that used to spend months and years together, do you remember all of them winning football games? No. There were teams that would spend a whole lot of time together and they still took an L because they just didn't have the right talent. You can spend all the time that you want to spend together and you still don't win football games. I'm telling y'all are making a mistake again. At the end of the day, I want people to understand one thing. Everything that everybody is saying is right, and everything that everybody is saying is also wrong, because we don't know what's going to transpire. It's speculation. It's all speculation. You speculated last year that TCU was going to beat us, and we proved you wrong. And do me a favor. Go ahead and bookmark this video. Come back, and I want your apology typed out in all caps. I would like your apology in all caps. Get it? All caps, because that's what y'all are doing. Capping. And with that being said, I'm going to leave it right there. And I'll see you. Get it? See you on the next video. Okay?